UFOs and New Mexico go hand in hand and have done so for a very long time. In 1965, a UFO is believed to have landed at Holloman Air Force Base in association with Project Serpo. More famously, the UFO crash at Corona and the wreckage then taken to Roswell in 1947. But did you know that 50 years before Roswell, before man had achieved powered flight, a small town in North Texas experienced what is believed to be the first recorded UFO crash in history? The town is Aurora, Texas, and the date, April 17th, 1897. We have on the phone Reggie Bird from Aurora, Texas. Reggie, you say you're retired, but you're on the Planning and Zoning Committee and the Cemetery Committee.
Yes, sir.
I don't think you're doing
no such thing as a real retirement. But
I was about to say, I don't think you're doing the retirement thing correctly. Most people don't do anything. A lot of hunting and fishing.
Well, I do that too.
All right.
So.
Well, Reggie, especially you being with the Cemetery Board, would be really interesting. In 1897, it is believed that a alien craft crashed in your town. That's 50 years before Roswell.
Of course, you know what they say, never let the truth get in the way of a good tall tale. Early in the morning, people saw this orb floating across the sky, and it crashed into Judge Proctor's windmill, knocking the windmill over, destroying the spaceship. And, of course, the little spaceman fell out on the ground, and there was a signalman from the Army Corps. And he proclaimed it had to be from Mars because they had never seen anything like it before. And the story it spread mainly through railroad communication, was how it spread so much around the state out here at the time. Supposedly the town folk felt sorry for the little feller, so they carried him out to the cemetery and buried him, and then threw some of the pieces of the spaceship down Judge Proctor's well, and then carried the rest of it away for souvenirs.
Now, about the well, I understand, according to legend, that the well is toxic. Is that accurate?
Well, there was a family that lived there, and he had severe arthritis in his hands. And he always blamed it on that well being contaminated, so he actually capped the top of that well and sealed it off, and he drilled a fresh well beside it. And people that drank out of the fresh well, they never had any ailments of any type. And then the Discovery Channel came out I'm going to say 15 years ago. They come out, uncapped that well, and sent a man down into the bottom of it to get samples and sealed it back up again. And if there was anything amazing about the samples, they didn't tell anybody.
Now, I also understand that I guess we could call him the pilot of the spacecraft, was buried there at the cemetery near a tree, but there is no tombstone. Am I getting all this correct? I'm just going by what I'm reading.
And I was at the cemetery working today, so that's why I contacted you. The thing about, there is a rock that supposedly marks the gravesite, but the thing about it is the original gravesite was on the south side of the cemetery, and then that headstone disappeared. And then somebody put another headstone further up towards the cemetery around 1973, because there was an article in the newspaper where Fort Worth had sent a reporter out, and then come out with Geiger counters, trying to see if it was radioactive. But that wasn't the original burial site. And then not long after that, it moved again. So he not only traveled space, but apparently he travels the cemetery, because that rock moves all over the place out there.
So since you work at the cemetery, Reggie, I have to ask you, is there anything buried there from not of this earth?
Not that I'm aware of. Because where that thing is currently located right now is, I've got a map of the cemetery, and it shows who owns the lots and everything. This roughly 100 years old. And, there's other people buried there, so.
Well, I do appreciate you spending some time with me and sharing the legend of the Aurora spacecraft crash. Oh, try saying that 3 times real fast.
Yeah.
Before I let you go, Reggie, is there anything else you want to tell our listeners?
No, like I say, never let the truth get in the way of a good story. So, and that story is hung around for over 100 years out here, and it comes up quite often. So, and I mean, everybody that lives out, I know families that had family out here at the time of that event, and they just don't talk about it. And if there were souvenirs collected, none of them were ever passed down through the wills or anything. So it's a blend of a farming and a growing community out here. We're not that far from the Dallas-Fort Worth area. So it's a nice place to live.
All right. Well, apparently it's a good place to visit if you're from the Zeta Reticuli system. Thank you so much for your time, and I want to, thank you for taking time out of your day. I know you've got lots to do, but I do appreciate you sharing this story with us. It's a lot of fun.
Well, thank you.